Gotta make some plans, gotta shake some hands on the hunt for votes, don't you understand? Right Honourable Member. One day a photo op with a hero cop, and then he's on TV fighting crime non-stop. Right Honourable Member. Will you remember all of the promises? Will he remember all of his vows? Valiant defender, nation so proud. Right Honourable Member, please take a bow. Gives the go-ahead for a new estate and catches on his bed before too late. That's right Honourable Member. Committees sit right through the night, but he was caught cheating on his wife. That's right Honourable Member. Will he remember the promises? Will he remember all of his vows? A valiant defender, nation so proud. Right Honourable Member, please take a bow. Will he remember all of the promises? Will he remember his vows? A valiant defender, nation so proud. Right Honourable Member, please take a bow. By strangers. Hello, welcome to Guitar Trek. I am Richard J. Dowling, and every week I upload an original song for your delight and delectation, and then when I have the opportunity I try and give a little talk afterwards about the composition. But before I do that, I wanted to give a little shout out to one of the, I think he was the first person to ever leave a comment on my video, well, the first stranger to ever leave a comment on one of my videos, and he's a musician himself. He's Brandon Scott Music is the channel. I'll put a link in the description underneath or in the comments. And he makes wonderful music. He's got such a lovely voice, and he makes these really sweet songs. And I'm not sure if he's a bit undecided about YouTube at the moment. So maybe if you're listening to this, you might like to check out his stuff, and I think you'll find it's very cool. So I'm very sort of in debt to him really, because I was very nervous about putting up my stuff on YouTube, and it was nice to get a genuine nice comment, and it really sort of stuck with me all this time. It was, I started about 6 months ago. I think it's 30 weeks ago, which is over half a year, I guess. Yeah, I think my maths is not that great, but yeah. So please check him out and give him your support. Then I'm little by little I'm trying to make these segments a bit more professional. I'm going to have like an agenda and stuff. So hopefully every week I'm going to try and give a shout out to a channel that I like. And so now it's the Right Honourable Member, and I really enjoyed this one. It's I think I like the lyrics and the music, and I'm pretty happy with both of them. It started off with the riff, which I'm going to get my guitar on a sec. And my pick is, or a pick is over here. So I don't know if you can see it. I can't really see my screen when I'm recording these things, but it was B minor, E. Yep, E minor 8. I play it differently on the acoustic guitar. I put a capo on the 2nd fret because it sounds. No, it's not. Sometimes I do that because it's easier to play certain chords with a capo on it. But in this case, it was just that it sounded nicer. It sounded less boomy, and the mics here pick up the sound. It seemed it works better with a capo on it. The acoustic guitar sounds a bit chimier with the capo on in this for these chords. So it's now this sort of sequence, a minor as B minor, E major, is something I ripped off. There's a Echo and the Bunnymen song called King of Kings, and I don't really know the actual chords if it's B minor or A minor, D, but it's a very slowed down. So the chords I sort of nicked off Bunnymen, and that's okay because they nicked it off presumably some other band, but I think they got it from Venus. You know the 60s song Venus? Do 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 do. She's got it, yeah, baby, she's got it. I'm your Venus. That one. It's the same. That's more up tempo, which I think is similar to mine. So I've sort of stolen from something that was stolen, and it sounds as close as I mean. I always end up sounding like the 60s. Anyway, people always comment that songs sound 60s, and I think that's nice because it's not that I'm deliberately trying to do 60s style songs, but for whatever reason, when you're working with a guitar, or when I'm working with the guitar, it tends to pull out these types of songs. If I ever learn to play the keyboard, then presumably I'll be doing songs that sound like 80s synth wave style sort of thing. So I had the riff. And that melody just came directly in. Obviously, you can steal chord progressions, and if you're looking for inspiration, it's often a good idea. But the melodies have to be original. So I like to think that my melodies are original. Then that was sort of. I wanted something that was easy to play as well, which is always, in fact, the electric guitar is a lot easier to play. I noticed just now when I was strumming, when I did the video, the acoustic guitar is quite big and bulky, and it's not. The electric guitar is a lot easier to sort of to get at. But so I had the chords, then I started to think about lyrics. What did I want to do lyric-wise? And there's never really a reason behind things happening in the creative process. It's just you start thinking around, hunting around, and I hit upon the song "Dedicated Follower of Fashion" by the Kinks because I've always liked the lyrics by Ray Davies, and it's not so. I guess there's not so much a template as a touchstone. I guess that the song "Dedicated Follower of Fashion," I just thought it's such a great lyric idea. So I wanted to do something similar with that feel to it, and I hit upon the idea of "Dedicated Follower of Fashion" was about a fashion, somebody who's into fashion. So I thought I'd do something about politics, about a politician, and then. That sort of, I sort of enjoyed that idea, but when it came to the chorus, I was in. Now let's see if I can remember it. No, because I'm got accustomed to playing with the capo. Yeah, so the chorus is A, G, D. When you're in B minor, E, the A seems a natural chord to go to for the chorus. So, so the melody just sort of came like strumming on that A chord and then went down to the G. The melody just swooped up of its own volition. Remember So then I had a bit of a battle because the the chorus felt like it was sort of a beautiful, sweet melody, but I'd chosen to write about corrupt politicians, and I was like having a bit of an internal debate about whether I was going down the wrong track or not. But I figured that, well, the corruption of the politician in this case, it's about a corrupt politician, actually works quite nicely against a melody which is quite a sweet melody. So I think there's a you feel that the melody's sweet, but you sense that we're talking about a corrupt guy, and it's almost like the corruption of the melody helps the meaning of the song. I like to think. I mean, that's how I justified it to myself anyway. And then I sat down and tore out my hair, what's left of it, trying to write the lyrics because it was really difficult. And I started I started scrolling through websites about parliamentary etiquette and things, and it just hit on that phrase, Right Honourable Member, and it just seemed to roll into the melody really well. So I based it all around that, and the first verse is sort of introducing. He's making his plans. He's got to shake hands. He's looking for votes. Then the second verse is he's doing lots of photo ops and he's on TV. And I think, well, I tried to make a little bit of a commentary that he's obviously doing photo opportunities with cops, and then he says he's on TV, he's helping to fight crime, whereas really he's not really doing anything except furthering his own career. That was the idea. Then in the chorus, will he remember all of the promises? Will he remember all of his vows? I mean, this is the eternal disillusionment we have with politicians, that they make all these promises, and then when they get into power, they do something else, or they don't fulfill their promises. So I think it's a pretty universal. It's not. I mean, the phrasing is the UK politicians. I mean, I live in Spain. There's been lots of political scandals here. There was the Casu Gürtel, which has gone on for a long time, but it involves lots of the top politicians. And I'm sure it's the case in whatever country you're listening to or you're watching it. The political scene. I imagine there is a lot of temptation. It's not to say that just because somebody is a politician that they're bad. I mean, there are lots of good people becoming good politicians, I'm sure, and yet I know that they have a lot of temptations, and maybe they're in a system where they feel that they're under pressure to behave in a certain way. But be that as you may, this is a rant about the song is a rant about corrupt politicians. And I think my voice is giving out again now. But it's been really good the last couple of weeks. I'm getting more subscribers, and I find that as I try to get involved more in the YouTube community, that I tend to get that back from the YouTube community. So it's really, really motivating and encouraging. There's so many good musicians out there. And in fact, I was getting annoyed with this guy chatting with recently, where he was saying, "Oh, there's no good music around." And there's loads of it. Every day I find people on YouTube doing wonderful music. Now, it may be just some guy like me sitting in their study or their bedroom, and it may not be a polished performance, but I've actually come to enjoy the slightly ramshackle, not necessarily ramshackle, but the homemade music. I think it's the spirit of music. I mean, we used to sit around in our houses before and sing together as family and friends. We don't really do that now. That was what I was reading about Ray Davies, was that his family, every weekend, everyone piled around with guitars and everyone was singing. Pubs used to have pianos, people would have a sing-along. We don't really do that as a culture now. So I think YouTube is good in that it's bringing that sense of community back together. It's different. It's not the record industry that we had, but music is there, and there is good music. There's good people making good music. Well, there's bad people making good music, I'm sure. As long as good music is being made, I don't go too much into the personalised. I always get sidetracked by my own freaking words. And what was it? So, blah blah blah. So I was chatting with a guy, and he said there's no good music. There is good music on YouTube, so I'm very happy to be part of it. of this community of musicians on YouTube. And I look forward to meeting more of you and listening to your work. Oh, that was it. That was what I wanted to make out. There was one comment I got that apparently I make it look easy songwriting, which it was a very, very nice compliment. And I think I said, I mean, it's not. I mean, I've been doing it for a long time. I started writing songs when I was 24, and I'm 48 now, and I've got it down to my process. I've mentioned in one of my early videos, I think, that I have like I use what I call the Marvin Minsky method of the society of mind, where you come up with lots of different ideas, and then you select the ones you like. So it's not that I sit down and I have one idea and then that becomes a song of the week. I have 3 or 4. Well, I've got hundreds now recorded on my phone, on my computer. I mean, they're just sit around. You know, if I don't have any inspiration, I can just listen to something I've come up with in another week, and then think, okay, that's a good verse. I can make up a chorus. So it's not really about. I mean, the quality comes about through the quantity of the creative element. So you generate lots of ideas, and you select ideas that you think you want to work further on. So in that sense, it's easy. I mean, you always have. I particularly struggle with lyrics, but other people maybe have more difficulty with music. But I don't think of it as being easy or difficult. It's more a case of it's challenging and it's fun. And if you're struggling, if you're writing songs and you're struggling, I mean, I don't know how to. I mean, I would say maybe you're putting too much. But I think what happens a lot is that people put too much pressure on themselves to do something that's good. They've got to do a good song. It's got to be, you know, great. Whereas I'm thinking, when I'm writing a song, I'm just thinking of. I never actually sit down to write a song. I just play around with the guitar. You hit a string, and an E major. Well, what would be a good chord after that? A D major. And then I don't know. You just play around it. There's an E. There's a D. So this string, I'm on the E. The D major chord uses that string there, so maybe if I go to a G, which is not a typical chord in that sequence. E, G. That sounds pretty good. That could be next week's song. So it's an idea, then I'll maybe come up with some melody idea, I'll record it in the moment, and then I won't work on it anymore that particular day. I tend to think, okay, when I sit down with the guitar, I come up with an idea, I record that idea, and then I go away and do something else. The next day I come back, I listen to it, I think, yeah, that'll be good, I can work on it, or I'll come up with a different idea. So you don't put pressure on yourself to just sit down and write a song. Give yourself a week, come up with a few different ideas, and just let things flow. And I personally find it very beneficial having very short sessions for creating ideas, and then selecting ideas on a different day. So I'll listen. Some ideas always sound great in the moment of creation, and the next day you think, actually no, it wasn't that good, or even the reverse. You think, wow, that sounds really good. So then you select on a different day from the creation. And well, that's my penny's worth anyway. I'm once again rambling, and I wonder if I've actually really given the information I wanted to give, but I've touched on the things I wanted to mention. So if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I'd love to answer them. And thank you all. Take care. I'll see you soon. Bye.